Great news, Flock Nation. Out of Baltimore Ravens training camp, we have officially entered the 4th week of Ravens training camp, as we've now gotten even into the preseason at this point in time. So we're going to get into what that great news is, plus some more training camp news and also some overreactions for Monday coming out of the preseason game that occurred on Saturday. I am your host, Santino Maoni of the Ravens Rundown. We are brought to you, as always, by Prize Picks. And the great news, the aforementioned great news, Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey, both the Baltimore Ravens starting cornerbacks, back at practice on Monday after missing some time due to, it was a knee injury for Nate Wiggins, and it was an undisclosed injury for Marlon Humphrey, so we didn't exactly know what happened there. But what we do know is that they are both back at practice. And make sure you guys, for news like this, subscribe so you never miss any updates on your Baltimore Ravens, no matter how big, no matter how small, whether it's a short or a VOD, a video, I should say. We will have that for you guys surrounding all the news on your Baltimore Ravens. Moving on to some other news, Nnamdi Madubuike, coming off of that neck surgery in 2025, where he missed 15 games of that season, got surgery on the aforementioned neck. He was working off to the side again, which has been primarily what we've seen from the Ravens defensive tackle throughout training camp. He hasn't fully been consistently in the drills, which makes sense when you're coming off a neck injury like that. You're not going to go crazy and not going to overdo it, but he's continuing to ramp up slowly but surely. Hopefully we'll see him in week 1. More updates, I'm sure, will be coming on that within the upcoming weeks as the preseason continues on. Jamison Hensley of ESPN also tweeting out a report about players that are not practicing currently, and that included linebacker Jay Higgins, Rasheen Ali, CJ Okoye, Carl Jones, Amani Oruwariye, Robert Longerbeam, and Jaquez Robinson, So those 7 players were not practicing today, and specifically talking about Rasheen Ali, the running back for the Baltimore Ravens. Jesse Minter, after practice, touched on the status and timetable, saying that Ali is just working through some stuff. I don't think it'll be anything crazy in terms of the injury or the timeline, but he's working through some stuff, and we'll let that timeline kind of shake out as it shakes out. And no major update, or concrete update, I should say, on Ali's status, but that also was the reason why the Baltimore Ravens went out there and signed a new running back, because there was a offensive tackle, Kendall Lamb, who the Ravens had signed a couple weeks ago that ended up retiring, opening up a roster spot for the Ravens to sign Jonathan Ward, a new running back, to this roster. They worked out a couple running backs that included Dernest Johnson and Jared Chisari, ultimately settling on the former Ravens practice squad player, Jonathan Ward, to fill out that 90th roster spot. And it makes sense with Rasheen Ali dealing with that injury. Derrick Henry and Justice Hill not going to be playing in the preseason. Makes sense why you make that move. Other training camp news, Teddye Buchanan, the second-year linebacker, is back after tearing his ACL last season. He missed the final 3 games of the year. It was a late season injury, but Jesse Minter is very pleased with Teddye Buchanan being back, as am I, as should all you Ravens fans. It's always great when a player gets to finally return. It's always great to see that, especially when you've seen the amount of work Teddye put in. Honestly, the first time I walked in this building, I think he was here rehabbing. Might have been one of the first guys that I saw Minter spoke about. He's been a constant presence here. He's put in the time and he's put in the work. And for a late season injury, for it to happen with just 3 games left in the year, and now for Buchanan to be where he's at, is a major credit to him, his mindset, and his overall work ethic. And Buchanan, as a rookie last year in the 14 games that he played, produced a decent amount for the Baltimore Ravens. I do truly believe that him being back now at training camp might not be ready for week 1 per se, but having a guy like Teddye Buchanan back in your lineup, as Minter said, it's always just nice to see your players return to the field, but he also can hopefully build off of that productive rookie season. Nearly an 100 tackle season for a rookie is nothing to sneeze at by any means. And again, like I said, he can hopefully add some more production to a linebacker room that is, we'll say, kind of thin. It's not the deepest on the Ravens defense. So any player that you get back, anybody that comes back from injury, it's beneficial to your squad. And coming up, we have some overreactions to get into. Great voice crack by your boy right there, but some overreactions to get into regarding the preseason game that occurred on Saturday. But before we do that, this is something I am not overreacting about. How good the new user offer is for from our good friends over at PrizePicks. If you download the PrizePicks app today, use code HMA and play your first $5 lineup. If that lineup wins, guys, you get $150 in bonus lineups. What a deal that is from America's #1 sports picks app, PrizePicks. Player picks are on fire right now and always, and there's no better place to cash in while watching sports than with PrizePicks. It's available in most states, including California, Texas, and Florida, just to name a few. The app, for a simple-minded guy like me, it's super easy to use. Part of why I love it, you just pick more or less on a few player stats, and you lock in your lineup. And there's a lineup on screen right now for the upcoming football season. I have the more on your very own Ravens running back, Derrick Henry, the more on his rushing yards. I added in the more on Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs because why the heck not? Two of the best running backs in the league. And it's not just football. You can make lineups about basketball, tennis, golf, literally whatever you want. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to tail this lineup. You could make a lineup about anything. But the one thing you have to do is make a lineup. And when you do, use code HMA. Play that first $5 lineup. And if it wins, you get $150 in bonus lineup. That's a lot of cash. One more time for a chance to win $150 in bonus lineups. Make sure you download the app. Use the code HMA and play that first $5 lineup. Thank you, as always, to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. We always appreciate them. Getting in to the preseason game, some of my overreactions. Before my overreactions, I want to share with you our head coach, Jesse Minter, what his reactions and thoughts were regarding the preseason game. He was very pleased with the pre-snap operation. Thought it was really well done on both sides of the ball. We had some in and out of plays, in and out of some run checks, some things on defense with some, play calls changing. And he thought the guys did a really good job owning the operation, taking charge. We were never really up against the play clock, which was awesome. The second thing for him was just seeing guys make plays. And there were a lot of guys that made plays. Seeing guys make tough contested catches. Seeing guys put the ball out there and make tough plays down the field. I thought the quarterbacks did a great job of giving catchable passes. I thought defensively, we did a good job overall. Would have liked to have contained the quarterback a little bit better. I agree with that. But all in all, Minter says, just a lot of good stuff on film. And he's 100% right. Was it all good? Were there things to work on? Yeah, 100%. That's what preseason's for. It's also second and third stringers, right? You're not going to be perfect. But overall, a pretty great season opener, if you ask me. But now, it is time to overreact. And I want to preface this. Overreaction is the word. I am not saying this stuff is guaranteed to happen. I'm not saying I'm going to be right about all of this stuff. But that's what overreaction means, and I want to have some fun. So overreact about the fact that the Ravens have the best offensive rookie weapons of any team after the 2026 NFL Draft. It's not an exaggeration, folks. It is not. Jacoby Late is the one I'll start with, who I have, talked about like 50 different times since I took over this channel in the last 2.5, 3 weeks. He's a dog. 3 catches, 38 yards, a touchdown in one half of football, mind you. He didn't even play the second half because why does he need to? He's incredible. And he's going to compete for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I don't care that he's just a third-round draft pick because when you look at, value of players, you would assume a player in the first round would be, Offensive Rookie of the Year. A quarterback probably. Is he going to win? Am I going to guarantee that? No. But I'm going to overreact and say he's going to highly compete for that Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Matthew Hibner. This guy out of SMU, 5 targets, 5 catches, 61 yards in his first game. The opening play he made on the opening drive, his first play, a 29-yard, big-time yak yardage play down the field. Doing already what Mark Andrews couldn't do last season at all. He had season lows across the board, but his yak yardage was god-awful. Should Hibner be tight end 1 in week 1? I don't know. There's a good shot of it. There's a good chance with how good he looked, even though it's just preseason. Elijah Surratt, national champion from Indiana, Elijah Surratt. 6 catches, 66 yards, led the team in receiving yards during that preseason game. There was a drive. I called it the Elijah Surratt drive. He had 4 catches on that one drive and was able to kind of take over the game in a sense, putting his footprint down, stamping his place within that game. Adam Randall, rookie running back out of Clemson, 12 carries, 46 yards, and a rushing touchdown. nearly 4 yards per carry. Now, again, I want to stress this very, very much. It is just preseason. I know that. But the preseason win versus the Eagles, they looked good. Like from top to bottom, this is the best core of rookie offensive playmakers. There are other teams that have good players, right? This isn't like to discredit those guys. But every single one of the players I just listed for you, Jacoby Lane, Matthew Hibner, Elijah Surratt, Adam Randall, they all have a very strong potential to make direct, immediate impacts on this Baltimore Ravens team. And I want you guys to know that. Regardless of whether this is me overreacting or not, regardless if it's actually going to be true, if it's actually going to happen, I want you to keep it on your radar. That's why I bring this up, and I think that's the beauty of Overreaction Monday, is to give you guys things to keep an eye out for. What I also want you to keep an eye out for is our other sponsors of today's show, and that is SeatGeek, because they have an unbelievable deal for you guys. When you use code CHAT10 on your next purchase of your next set of tickets with SeatGeek, you get 10% off. Today's show is made possible by SeatGeek, and if you want to get out of the house and go to an event with your friends, fiance, girlfriend, whatever it may be, use SeatGeek. And like I said, save 10% off your next set of tickets by using code CHAT10. You can go to concerts, baseball games, comedy shows, basketball games are around the corner, football's around the corner, literally whatever you want. No matter what it is, SeatGeek has got you covered. And I mentioned football is coming up. The Ravens home opener is fast approaching. Only 2 more preseason games until we get there. You could even go to a Ravens game later in the season. SeatGeek, no matter when you go, is the perfect place to buy your tickets. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. The website is extremely user-friendly. They use colors instead of numbers, which is great because I don't like numbers. I like colors. Green dots are the best deals. Those are the ones I like the best when looking at SeatGeek. The yellow dots, they're okay. And the red is bad. So look for those green dots to get the best bang for your buck and stay away from the red ones. They even have views from the seat. Like they just make it so easy for you to use. So you can use code CHAT10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. Once again, that is 10% off any tickets you buy for any event with promo code CHAT10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. I've used SeatGeek for years, and even before getting to Chat Sports, which makes me even more thankful to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's show. Back to my overreactions. Minter and the Ravens will have a top 10 defense. Coming off of one of the worst years the Baltimore Ravens had in terms of their defense, right? The Jesse Minter effect is already alive and well. It's already real. It's already here. We have those Minter is coming shirts. Minter's already came. Minter's here. He has come to the Baltimore Ravens and has already in a preseason game made the defense look great. And I know it's not the first stringers playing. I know it's not the starters that are playing. But when you look at what the defense did to the Philadelphia Eagles the other night on Saturday, only allowed 7 points. Mind you, that touchdown, by the way, came with like 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. So they basically shut him out outside of a garbage time touchdown. Allowed less than 160 yards in the entire game. This is the stat to me that speaks volumes, though. 0 for 9 on third downs. Your opponent, you're telling me, couldn't complete a single third down with your defense? And you were playing, granted, it was the second and third stringers of the Eagles, but you're playing against the second and third stringers of the Baltimore Ravens? That to me just showcases the depth that we have, that your Baltimore Ravens have on this defensive side of the ball. Because, of course, again, I want to see it when it matters, right? All of the stuff we're talking about, you want to see it when it matters. But the preseason is the time to build those foundational components. Get those building blocks set to then rise up after that. And we're seeing it right before our eyes. Like Keon Martin was somebody that played out of his mind, was flying all over the field. We saw Mike Green getting pressure, the second-year player out of Marshall. Like there were players on that defense that were making consistent plays. Silas Walters was making plays as well, like from the safety spot. Like it just goes to show me that with the depth and then once the starters actually play, that defense can speak volumes under Jesse Minter. And if you agree with me or agree with my overreaction, we'll say that the Ravens are going to have a top 10 defense in 2026, let me know. Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say and what your confidence level is in Jesse Minter. My final overreaction, Rashod Bateman, who I think for Ravens fans we're split on how we feel about him. He's going to be wide receiver 4. Massive overreaction. But guess what? The two rookies, anytime the two rookies do something well, I'm going to be real with you and overreact a little bit, but be honest with you about the fact that Rashod Bateman might be getting pushed down a little bit. Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt. Dylan, if we could bring those stat graphics back up for a second, I want to showcase to them again how well they played. Jacoby Lane in one half of football put up numbers that Rashod Bateman would arguably struggle to put up last season in an entire game. Elijah Surratt, 6 catches, 66 yards. I'd have to go back and look to see how many times Rashod Bateman even did that last season. Like, granted, again, he was hurt for part of the year, but in the 13 games that he played, I'd have to go look back at those 13 games and see how many he actually had of that stat caliber. And again, it is just preseason, right? Will this happen in week 1? Will Rashod Bateman not be starting in week 1? No, probably not. Which makes you think, why'd I even just go say that? Because it's Overreaction Monday. But also because there is a chance that even if he starts week 1, he might not play as much as we think. His snap count may get diminished greatly because of what these other young wide receivers can do, even a Devontae Walker potentially. The two rookie wide receivers, though, is my focus from what I saw in this preseason game. They looked good enough to create even more questions about Rashod Bateman, stronger questions about the Ravens wide receiver. And I think they're questions that need to be addressed and need to be kept an eye on. We got to pay attention to this, right? These are my 3 overreactions. Let me know if you agree with any of them. Let me know if you think I'm absolutely out of my mind, if I'm just really talking out of my you-know-what, if I'm really just overreacting, or if you guys are overreacting with me, if you're kind of on the same page as I am, in a sense, about any one of these 3, or maybe even all 3. Who knows? But we'll get on out of here, Flock Nation. That is all I have for you on today's show, and I will see you guys in the next one.